Okay, sound check. Let's see, get that into the pot. And we're back. That's what I thought I was doing. I thought I'd accidentally pressed. No, we're going to go without the. We're going to go the extra zoom because I'm sick of. It's bad enough seeing the reflection of my legs. It's worse seeing them. Alrighty. Okay, so this. I picked this up today in Townsville. I saw it last night for sale. It was listed as broken. And when I picked it up today, the person just said it tries to start and then it dies. So I'd already driven into Townsville to grab it, so I guess I was sort of being a little bit presumptuous here. Hey Andre, Keith, Coda, 3X, Blazing, Pro, Alexi, hey Alexi, Travis. Let's see. And as far as I know, it should be. I can't imagine it wouldn't be what they said. But yeah, it's pretty standard 21. It's got a bit of dust in it, but nothing too bad. Anyway, let's power it up and see what we get. I guess I better plug in a keyboard and mouse. Yeah, as far as I know, these are the glued screens, the ones that they do not have the metal shield backing, so opening them up is a precarious affair. Okay, I guess we'll plug it in. Yeah, when I got back from Townsville, which was around about 11 o'clock this morning, it was just go, 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 go. So finally I get a chance to sit down and have a look at this. Alright. Power in. Separate mouse. Let's see if we get anything. Here we go. Hello, Joe. Anything? Oh, we got a bong. That's a good start. Do we get display? Display. We got display. Better tilt down in case this person has personal. Okay, it's booting. I wonder if it just got knocked in transit. I'm going to guess that it's going to get 3/4 of the way and then it's just going to shut down. In which case, it's probably a failing drive. Now, hopefully this does not have a fusion drive or anything like that. It's a little bit sluggish. I'm going to guess that it is a... Yeah, it's a dud drive. The way it's stalling here, that tends to make me think that there's bad sectors on the drive killing it. Yep, there we go. Alright, I'm going to assume 99% likely this is a bad drive. Plug in my MacBook. It could be BIOS too. It's the sluggishness makes me think it's going to be a bad drive. Particularly, it's a 2015, so it's 7 years old. Wow, that is really bright. It's bright because it's compensating for the black screen. Let me just see if I can knock it back. Okay, that's a little more humane. Let's see, let's try to beat this again. Hold down the Alt key. I think this one works. Nope. Okay, we'll kill that again. Pretty sure it was meant to be the Alt key. Okay, we'll try this one. Hey JCT, Jaden. Ach nee man. Daar. Wait, the batteries in my keyboard have dropped out. Put some slightly freshies in there. It should still work with wireless keyboards. Yep, there we go, it was just bad batteries. Coda, you don't work during this time of the day. You work like the late hours. Hey Jason. And all the people saying it was wireless that won't work or the wrong side of the keyboard won't work. Oh, how they just got proven wrong. Sweet. Okay. I know it doesn't matter on this one because I've done it plenty of times before, and that's why I suspected I just had bad batteries. Alright, let's see what we got. We got a 2.8 gigahertz i5. We've got 8 gigs of RAM, and yeah, it is a 2015. It's a late 2015, so it's pretty cool. Display is only standard high def, 1080. macOS can't repair the. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely got a failing hard drive in the other system. Alright, storage, and it's not gonna. Oh, there we go. What do we have here? Looks like they've got a 1 terabyte SATA, so there'll be a 2.5-inch drive, I think. So we should be able to just carve that out and replace it. Shut down. This is Cody. You've got to go view houses on Friday. You got to go view houses? What are you, buying a house? Cody, yeah, that would be about the same price that I paid for it. I'm just waiting for it to shut down. If I don't let it shut down properly, it will mess up my little USB stick a bit. Hey Harold, welcome. Miles, life is very unfair. Unfortunately, I've got no cure for that. You could try reset your life. Like, you can do a respawn, but you're sort of putting your faith in the fact that you will get respawned. I don't recommend that yet. ZX, no, that's the 2010 series, I think. These ones are stuck in with glue, adhesive strip glue. And these are actually worse than the 2013s. I do quite like the 2013s. I bought one the other day. But they have a nice protective metal shield on the screen, whereas these do not. These have the ribbon cables for the screen exposed. So when you slice it, if you do it wrong, you kill the screen. And that is the real risk that we're facing tonight. So I have to make sure I do this correctly. Where did I put my little wheelie wheel? Wheelie, where did I put it now? Ach, nee man. We're only a few minutes into the stream and I'm already screaming at lost parts. Ah, alright, that's Micro's insulin alarm. So I'll go do that and be right back. Do my Micro was? No? It's okay. Give you a Oh, what you doing? Yeah, I know. Come here. Micro. Dada. Yeah. Oh, bad for this. Good. That might stung him a little bit. Doesn't happen that often. It's bad when it does. Alright. Okay, we're back. That one, unfortunately, wasn't the most straightforward injection. I sort of got it into him and then he decided to try to a runner. It's always a bad thing when they do that. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out a little. This wheel is not the one that I should be using. I haven't found the other one yet. I mean, it's got to be around here somewhere, but flipped if I know where it is. Yeah, it's hopefully this is not a mistake. But fortunately, at least, even if this, say, penetrates too far, because it's a rolling action and not a sliding grabbing action, it should be okay. I'm a little concerned, okay? Can you blame me? Okay, here we go. Yeah, as long as you roll, you're generally okay. You watch, I'm going to find that I've just wrecked a dozen traces there. Alright, just get my little plastic spacers for this. Oh, that's right, I now have them up in the... This is kind of like splitting a log or splitting wood, stone, like a mason. You just gotta... Yeah, JCT, that's exactly right. We don't want to hear ach niemand. Especially not with extra emphasis. It might help if I heat up slightly. But you definitely have to be careful with this one. Okay, 250. So normally with the 2013s or whatever, when you get it to this phase, you can just go along and drive a spudger through it, like, you know, to carve it out, the last bits. You really don't want to do that with this one, because when you do the carving action, that's when you snag the flexes. I don't want to put too much heat in here. I just need to be able to get a separation. And I also do not want to... God damn it. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So long as I only insert like vertically like this, and as opposed to dragging, I shouldn't get myself into too much strife. Famous words, I know, famous last words. I can certainly feel a lot of tension in there. Hey, Michael Tritz. It may be that I'm being overly pedantic here, but yeah, it's just one of those things that you get one shot at it. Really not sure if I should risk putting IPA down there. Jason, do you ever use IPA on these to get the separation? Why not just use screws? What do you mean? APA on the wheel. Okay, that is what I just did just then. You can see I've got my IPA here and I'm just slightly wetting the wheel. At least that way there's no actual runaway dripping. Okay, I'm starting to get a better view in here now. Oh, the stainless steel tool. Haha, no. I guess you've got the advantage of experience of a lot of these. I do not. So I will not have an idea of the feel that I need to aim for. Whereas you do, you'll have that sort of touch knowledge. Whereas I'm very much green twig here. First one is always the hardest. Like relationships sometimes. Ah, that's not true. Subsequent relationships can often be much harder. Ah, this one looks like it's got the shield on it. I might have been overly paranoid for no good reason. Yeah, this has got a shield on it. This is not exposed trace. Well, maybe it is. No, we'll find out when we actually get it off. There we go. Hey, David Powell, MacBook Pro arrived back today. Oh, good, David, good. Yes, you happy with the... Yeah, this has got the shield on it. I was panicking for nothing. That's weird. I always thought the 2015s had the shield, or maybe it's the 27-inch ones. I've been living a lie all this time. Oh, you're welcome, David. Well, it was good that you were able to do your side of the situation, putting in the details to Apple, and then my guys, they had to do a little bit of trickery, I must say, to make it all happen, but I'm glad it worked out. Hopefully you don't have to go through that again. Hey Josh, reckon you'd be able to resolder 2 pins on that 5900? I'm just actually trying to find some replacement pins for that. So yeah, I mean, if you want to send it up, I can certainly have a go at it. It's certainly not going to make it any worse. But the real problem is simply getting replacement pins for it. Alright, so this is essentially the same as what we did the other night. Okay, like I said, maybe it's the 27-inch that has the exposed all along here. It's basically like those flat ribbon cable, whereas on this one it's behind the shield. So anyway, win for me. Hey, Wayne Taylor. Oh no, now we've got people saying I'll be able to do it in my sleep. Jason, come on, you jinx me like that. Alright, this is what we had to fight with last time. And so yeah, we basically just have a 1 terabyte failing Hitachi drive. HGST rather. Yeah, the question is, what flippin' drive am I going to put in this thing? Let's see what I've got. I think I've got a 500 Western Digital. I gotta check my stock. No, not you. Yeah, you. Although now I've got the predicament of what the hell do I do with this? It's like, okay, good job, Paul. You found a faulty Mac that you can fix, and you're going to fix it up, and you put a new drive in it. Then what are you going to do with it? Just sit around and rot. Oh, Harold, these Western Digital Blues, they're perfectly fine. I do normally get the Samsungs, but to be honest, lately I've been pretty impressed with the Western Digital Blues. The greens are a little bit anemic, but the blues seem fine. Oh yeah, the QVOs are an absolute... Yeah, I can't say the words I want to say about the QVOs. I'm very disappointed with the QVO, to be honest. I had higher hopes coming from Samsung for how they would perform, but they were... that is just one really lackluster format of a drive. Yeah, this is always fun, isn't it, Paul? Yeah, Wayne, I'm trying to find a AM4, just any old AM4 chip that I can get locally, and then I'll be able to snare the couple of pins off them. The biggest thing I'm worried about with the chip is that it may have torn the pads on the chip. So not only will I be dealing with the broken pins, but the actual contact to the signal line on the chip will be damaged. That's just what I'm potentially worried about. Can be a bit hard to tell from the pictures, obviously. This Western Digital Blue 500 will be fine. It'll do the job just nicely, thank you. And this time I'll remember to install those support brackets that left me confounded last time. Hey, Rob Brown. Rob Cook may have the same CPU. Oh, okay, cool. I guess someone will email me about that. Thanks, Robert. Well, I'll have to reimburse you for that. Come on. Get your rubber in there. They sort of cheapened out a little bit on the 21.7s compared to what I feel like they should have done. Is that the wrong bracket? No, that's the right bracket. Just isn't sitting as beautifully flat as I would expect. I think it's... Oh, that's right, yeah. Travis, have staff meeting in 10. Oh well. That's the nature of having to work for someone else. Or being a manager. Not feeling the love. No, definitely not that way. Yeah, maybe it's just a butt join. Just going to take the fan assembly off, check to see if the CPU's choked at all. May as well do it while we have it open. Right, yeah, Jason, yeah, sometimes when you're disassembling things and try to reassemble them, you just get that feeling that it just feels wrong. But yeah, as you say, you know, when I look at the construction of the plastic on both sides, that's what I was saying, it looks like it's just a butt fit. But it still feels unnerving, I must say. It's like, I do like things to nest rather than... that looks... Yeah, what are you going to do? Can't complain about that. That's clean as you're going to get. It's okay, Tony W. The temperature sensor issue doesn't apply on this one. Or at least it shouldn't. That was the older models. And if it is that, well, that's fine. I'll just jury rig it. Good. Let's get this back together. When it comes to the SSDs, I've never had, even with the 2013s, definitely never had that hard drive temperature issue come up. I just realised I need to get the proper sealants for this. I'm going to do the official method of sealing these things up. Beautiful. Ready to go back to the very high demanding Apple customer. I just realised now I've got to try and actually make this thing install an operating system. Okay, the fun and games will now commence. I forgot to hook up the cables. Damn it, why didn't you people tell me before I sealed it up? Yeah, you're right. That's okay. This is why we have the patented rapid release screen system. No more long waiting to separate, just peel off and go. Yeah, it's very patent pending. That would have been funny. I do hate the way that these cables really do require a little more dexterity than what I have on hand. Alright, we're in again. Right, charge another $20 for the replacement adhesive. And we're good. At least I hope so. Ah, Coda, why are you letting people do that? This is the thing I do hate about the greater awareness of the right to repair, or just repairing in general. A, that people think it's a gold mine, which I gotta admit it kind of is. But B, that people go for the simplest solution possible, which is often, let's reflow everything, reflow all the everythings. And it just hell breaks loose. Goddamn three-way USB plugs. Control Shift and R, I think. Maybe it'd be easier if I just simply put an installer stick in there. That might be the more... Well, hopefully it'll come up with a flashing icon soon. And I'll see if I can find my installer in the interim. Yep, flashing folder. Jolly good. Mojave installer. Let's see if Mojave even goes on this thing. I mean, it will install, but the question is, will it... it will run it. Question is, will it run it properly? Otherwise, I've got High Sierra I can put on it. Rightio, gotta get my Irish legs out of the way. There we go. I'm not actually Irish, but my legs sure look it. Oh, okay, so you're to blame for your own nightmares. Fair enough then. Well, at least you own it. Yeah, so that's what I was saying is, I know it will run all of the macOS systems at the moment, but the question is, sometimes I've found that a couple of them will have issues installing, say, Mojave. Like the 2013 that I did the other day, it did not want to go with it. Even, you do the date change and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I know you can still see my pale legs. It's the power of paleness. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do... What? You're... Wrong mouse. Here we go. Okay, utilities, terminal. Oh, damn it, this is already remembered. Turn the Wi-Fi off. Okay, so we go, date, 218. Damn it, date. Okay. So that sets the date. Quit the terminal. Go to the disk utility. B-Blood, I live in probably the most sunny place on the planet in terms of hours per year. And I'm in no mood to go out and get excess sun. We have a horrendous degree of melanoma incidences around here. This town is about right up there in the top. I'll probably put it up to Catalina and leave it at that. I'm very disappointed in Big Sur visually. That's a terrible reason not to install Big Sur, but I found it offends me. It's got this 1920s styling about it, and I can't stand the 1920s. I don't know why. It's just something about that gangster. Yeah, the, not my thing. Need the SPF 5000 from Robocop. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Are you bench testing it for? No, just going straight for the install. I'm not a person who really bothers to chase like performance figures or anything like that. My performance testing essentially comes down to when I use it, do I feel like it's running quick enough? And if the answer is yes, then I'm happy. If it's no, then I'm look at what I can do to improve it. Now, of course, there's user interface response performance, and then there is underlying system performance. Most of the time, people are fairly tolerant of a slow underlying system if the user interface is responsive. But if it's the other way around and the underlying system is quick but the user interface is sluggish, then people really chuck a nana pretty quick. By the way, I do have a bunch of MacBooks to fix after this. I just wanted to get this out of the way. But yeah, in summer, it's our summer. We have to behave like people do in winter, where it snows and things like that. Basically, you bunker down for the entire season. You try very hard not to go out, and no, it's essentially that. And then instead of us having spring cleaning, we actually have autumn cleaning, which coincidentally it coincides with the same time that when the Northern Hemisphere is doing spring cleaning. Have I messed with them? I've fixed a few M1s. I'm quite happy with them, to be honest. They're pretty straightforward. They do have some chips that I can't get a hold of and things like that, the usual sort of teething issues. But overall, I'm happier with the design. Oh, what the hell? 15 minutes from... Oh no, we're going to find something else to do. I'll let that keep running, but I'm going to drop it down to the side here. I'm not going to wait 15 minutes sitting around here talking. I don't have that much conversation in me. That's just downright laughable. Okay. Kick all the crap over the side. Oh crap, what happened there? Miles, I do tend to agree with you. Well, I do agree with you. This series was the best looking one. The new ones, I am not a fan of their style. Jason, you go back to Japan for the Australia. That's a smart move. Give a MacBook 30 volt. Did that last night. Well, actually, that was only 12 volt, but it was 12 amps too. Come on. But yeah, if I will continue to probably seek out these machines for quite a while. I will go with a new M1 laptop, but for the desktops, these are the ones I'm looking at. Does anyone ever remember installing things like Windows from floppy disks? 360. I don't. Did Windows ever come out on the 360 floppies? I don't think it did. It was always 1.44, 3.5 inch ones, as opposed to the 5.25 inch floppies. Certainly DOS came out on the 5.25 inch. Oh, 311 for workstation. Okay. I still remember Windows 1. We were installing it on a friend's Amstrad. That took forever. My favourite DOS probably was 4DOS, which, that was quite a while after the original DOS came out. My first DOS was 3.0, I think. And I got that with my XT machine. It was 8088. I wasn't rich enough to get a 8086 as much as I wanted it, but I did have a turbo button, so I was content. Have turbo button made life happy. The only time I think I ever switched it off turbo was when I was running some really old games and they just ran too quickly on the 10 megahertz. I had to drop it back down to 4.77. But if you got good at the game, you can always switch it back up. Okay, that's down. Let's get some metho. Squirt it all around. Oh, Eric, you had the joy of building your own ZX. That's nice. My first computer was a VZ200, which was a Laser 2000 rebadged. And it essentially was a ZX in terms of general spec. It had a bit more memory and it had a nice keyboard. But ultimately, it was still an early Z80 incarnation. Z80 chip itself was an interesting one. I just found it amusing. It didn't have an integrated multiplier. Now, Preston, it really depends on what side of Apple's service you get onto, because one of the people in here that I just fixed their computer, they got Apple to change their complete top deck without too much drama. I mean, there was a bit of back and forth calling and whatnot, but overall they got it replaced without costing the amount that it would normally cost outright, which, a few $1,000s. Oh, not a few thousand, $700, $800 probably. I destroyed my first computer because I tried to improve the audio output on it, and I forgot to turn it off while I was soldering the new circuit board in. So that was a bad day. So then I got the upgrade version. I didn't mess with that one. And then after that I ended up with the IBM. Okay, so what's the fault with this one? Cannot detect storage device. Well, that's a different one. It's a 165. What is this? It might be a 2017. I'm not sure. Okay, Warren. Thank you. It does depend a lot on where you go, who you know, and things like that. It's the same old thing in most industries. If you know the right people and you can get a bit of an inside, get some people on the inside going, helping you with your cause, then it makes a tremendous difference to the likelihood of a good outcome. I appear to not have my preferred tweezers right now, so we'll just get this battery out. Hey Riston, welcome. Ooh, what is that? Not really sure what that is, but something to note. 1226. Just starting to mark down everything as usual. I'm just basically going to go straight in, take the board out, because one of the common faults that you do get is a bit of corrosion gets under and knocks out the switch, the power switch that supplies the SSD. It isn't always that. Sometimes it can also be the CPU itself, PCH, that's cactus, and at which point there's nothing you can do. Now I'm assuming that I shouldn't do this, but I am assuming that the people that sent it to me, because they are a shop, have done things like change the drive just to check themselves. I believe they did when I was looking at the write-up for the job. Hey Patrick, good evening. But it's a clean machine otherwise, which is nice. But as you know, clean boards are terrifying boards. Terrifying because it greatly reduces the chances of it being a janitor job. And when it's not a janitor job, that could mean it's a hard job. And hard jobs are hard. Okay, looks like I'm going to crank the brightness up again on the camera because now that we've got that whopping great big black Mac screen out of the way. There we go. That should be more normal. Yes, clean boards have no usable evidence. Well, they might, but it's hidden. Or very tiny. Needs to say, you have to do a little bit more work. This thing has never been disassembled. You can tell by the torque of the screws. They just have that little bit extra torque, which tends, and you can feel the snap, which is usually the, what do you call it, the Loctite sort of stuff. Thank you for the 2, Patrick. Much appreciated. You still remember punching holes and... oh yeah, to get that double-sided. And then you'd run... Norton had a utility. There was a few utilities out there where you could mark off the bad sectors. And then there were those more advanced utilities that allow you to actually format the disks well beyond the standard capacities with varying success. You know, you get like 2 megabytes out of them or something like that. As I've said plenty of times before, it was an interesting time, but I really would not want to go back to that at all. The nostalgia does not appeal to me for those things. Substantially happier surface mount, high definition screens, good internet, all that sort of stuff. It's the good times now. Okay, there's a little bit of edge corrosion, so, well, not corrosion, but dust. So we're going to have a looky-loo. And hopefully we have a janitor job instead of a brain job. Hey, Fix-It Pro. Pro with HR. I'm really not enjoying the lack of the thumbs down button because there's so many crap videos out there, but you can't tell from the thumbs down, thumbs up ratio if they're crap, and it's very frustrating. Maybe that was the end game for YouTube. Maybe they wanted people not to be able to not click on videos based on that ratio. I would say that there's probably 90% plus of people end up watching videos they would not have watched because of the thumbs down. Oh, okay, there we go. We've got some corrosion there by the BIOS. That's interesting. Wonder if that's related to... We'll have a look at that in a second. As opposed to people who get artificially thumbs down, yeah, by trolls. I think the number of people afflicted by trolls is going to be substantially less than the number of people clicking on videos they really didn't end up wanting to watch. Okay, well, we've got that one tiny spot of corrosion there that's on that chip by the BIOS. That may or may not be related, but we're going to find out. We'll have to bring up the board view and the schematic. As soon as I can find the right mouse. Seems I've misplaced both mice now. Oh, well done, Paul, well done. Seriously? How did you end up back there? No, you're not the right mouse. No, you're not the right mouse. This is the downside of having mice that all look the same. I'm just going to put my little plastic blades away, and I'm hoping the universe will do me a favor and show me where the hell my mouse is. It looks like the universe isn't being generous today. Seriously, where is my mouse? Did you fall in the rubbish bin? Nope. Oh, don't make me go Richard III on this. Oh, my mice are labelled. That's how I know that they're the right or the wrong ones. Wait, is that it? What? It was right here, and yet I was blind. I hate that. I hate that so much. I hate it when you look and look and look and look and look, and then it ends up being right there in front of you. And it's like, what gives? Why does the brain go blind like that? It's very frustrating. No, well, the labels are on the underside. I actually literally did not see the mouse itself. That's the problem. Okay, so 3v3 sus has corrosion on it. It shouldn't have really booted if that was a problem. I mean, it shouldn't have even tried to start, that is rather what I'm saying. What the? Oh, goddamn you, Mac install. If you would like to kill this Mac, press 1. Let's see, we're just going to tell it that we're in Australia, mate. Continue. Continue. Oh wait, choose keyboard layout? Oh hell no, we've got to go American US. United States International. Continue. Connect up to our Wi-Fi network. Password is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Hopefully it'll stop talking though, if nothing else. It was annoying, it was talking. Alright, so I can't see a direct correlation between the sus line and the SSD, but we will fix it up, and you never know, maybe it does have a sort of secondary effect or something. Data privacy. Do you want Apple to know everything about you? P.S. We already know. No transferring, no Apple ID, get stuffed, go to hell. I actually do use an Apple ID with my machine where I have... What's this? Forgotten your Apple ID? No, I haven't forgotten my Apple ID. Son of a... Oh, set up later. Skip to the loo, my darling. Terms and conditions. I will give my firstborn to Apple. Agree. Sorry, I know I should be... Okay, so PLD. Password 1234, 1234, 4 ones. Personally, I wish they'd just let you, from the initial creation, just boot in without a password, but yeah, it is what it is. Continue. Okay, that's setting up now, so I can ignore that and get back to this board. I should have a look at the SSD connector. It seems pretty good. It doesn't mean it is, but we'll have a look at Edge on. Yep. Yeah, that looks pretty clean to me. So yeah, we'll fix up this and we'll go from there. There's no buyer's remorse on that iMac. I'm quite happy with it. Okay, here we go. I will genuinely be surprised if it is this 3v3 sus issue, but I don't think it is. Because if you don't have 3v3 sus, you generally don't boot. You don't even get started. Thank you, B-Pope, for the $1. I have to go see why I deserved that. Or maybe I didn't. I'll have to have a look at those later, creature. I presume you sent them the email. Not sure there's quite enough solder fluff on those pads, but we'll see. Yeah, usually you like to get the pads reasonably fluffy. Hey, Jim Allen. Take a BPOC, I'm reading it now. One asks, did you go to school for electronics or engineering to pick up? The answer is yes, both. I, as a youngster, from about the age of 7, I started fiddling around with electronics, and then I sort of got into computers at around 10. Then back into electronics in my teens, but computers stayed constant the whole time. And then I went to university to do computer systems engineering, which is basically embedded systems, things like that. And then I changed majors. I changed over to computer science because I wasn't able to keep affording the cost of doing computer systems engineering, and I was sort of finding that it was going in a path I wasn't really quite able to invest myself into. So I figured it would be easy. Well, I shouldn't say easier, but I figured I'd go, you know what, I don't know which flippin'... Anyway, so I went to computer science, and that dealt with things like, it's basically applied math, theories of operation, theories of optimization, algorithms, things like that, and also did quite well on graphics. When we're talking about graphics, I'm not talking graphic design or anything. We're talking about the fundamental principles for drawing, shading, things like that, the underlying physics of light and objects, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I still didn't finish all that. I had about 6 months left on my... 6 months left to go, and I basically ran off and did other stuff. Sometimes you just can't quite reach the end, and I never did. But then after that I carried on with computer programming, and when I got back from overseas, I got back into the electronics again. I got back into the electronics around the time when I was doing model aircraft, so Creature, he knows me from around that time. And then that's when I started my manufacturing and things like that. And that was quite some time ago. And then I sort of stopped the manufacturing, went back to focusing more on... I ended up just started doing IT work in general. I had to get some money. So, fixing people's PCs, networks, just rudimentary stuff. And then it wasn't until people started... I was fixing up laptops, electronics on laptops, PCs, but it wasn't until someone crammed a MacBook A1278 with an 820-2936 board into my hands that I finally started taking up MacBook repairs. Okay, so we're going to see if this boots. We're going to use our own drive. We're not going to use their drive. Let's see. Creature, I wish I still had my quick flicks, as well as my seether and my slip sew. Well, basically I wish I still had all of my original models, but in the end I had a rampage and I just tossed everything into the trash, cleared out the shed, and everything went to the dump. But it's nice to know that some people out there still have my models. Nice to know that some people still remember those days where I had some kind of a presence in the community. I'm just checking with my wife to see that everything's okay. She's out there with the torch running around, making sure that there's no problems with the cats. Okay, memory. You can buy an unbuilt kit from HIT. That kit would probably be termites holding hands by now. Well, we got nothing? That makes no sense. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. Tony, it predates that period. My electronics understanding and all that comes from when I was, well, starting from 7 up to my teenage years. Of course, that was fairly rudimentary stuff there. I picked up more when I was going through university, and then I picked up a lot more when I was doing the design and manufacturing. Okay, it looks like we're not going to get what we want here, so we're still down. We're going to probably end up a flashing folder shortly. Well, it booted. This is not the customer's machine. I don't know who the hell Max Pitt is. It's some drive I pulled out from the dump somewhere. Okay, so it looks like the SSD does work now. But it did say it was intermittent, so that is actually going to be a real pain in the ass. Sometimes may come good, but almost always no connection. Attempted with multiple SSDs. Intermittents are the worst. It's like, how do you know that you truly have fixed it? I just missed out on getting into the quads. They were becoming the thing to do, and at around that time I sort of switched over to doing other things, or going back to IT work. And I had to basically just walk away from all of my model stuff. Sold off all of my nice gear, all my good transmitters, and all of the stuff that I had invested in, which is now no good. It's a lot of money to burn, but when you're down and out, you start just selling off everything you can to get some money. It's kind of scary when you realize you've only got $2.70 in your pocket, and these are all random drives, by the way. Yeah, and you got to try and make a meal for the day with $2.70 here in Australia. It's not the best feeling in the world. So at that point, I basically decided that's it. So I started. Fortunately, I did have. How can you say? I was known among the community, just in general. So when I advertised that I could do IT services, fixing computers and things like that, I did get some hits pretty quick. And so I still remember getting my first $50 job done. That was a glorious day. It was so nice to actually be able to eat properly. And then the next $50, I was actually able to finally buy some replacement shoes, because my shoes, they had holes, massive holes in them, and I was like hiding them so that people wouldn't see, things like that. It is surprising and frightening how you slowly descend into all these things breaking down around you. Like, you don't have shoes, you don't have food, you don't have, you just don't have so many things. You've got no insurance, you've barely any fuel, and you just sort of, it's happening, but it just sort of seems to, I guess it's like a frog in boiling water scenario. I think for the $2.79, what I did is I got a single chicken breast and some rice, and I happen to have some spices and stuff in the cupboard. Oh, this is a slow booter. Making a cheap meal in Australia is dangerous for goats. What? Oh, yeah, goats. Most of Australia either eats prawns, fish, chicken is our big thing, chicken, beef or lamb. We don't eat kangaroo that much. I don't know what this thing's doing. It's like it's... Wow. Yep, these are all old drives that I should scrub. Does the Mac thermal throttle? It does, yeah. It may be getting to that point. It also does not appreciate not having the battery connected. I might plug in the customer's drive now and see what happens. Obviously I'm going to obscure various details. Yeah, you're not a MacBook drive, what are you? You're a 128GB Kingston drive. Probably doesn't work. Yeah, kangaroo is definitely nowhere near as tolerant to bad cooking as the rest of the fatty meats that we're used to. And of course, the lack of fat drives people absolutely insane. Restaurant down here in SA does amazing. You seriously? Being in... Oh wait, you're saying SA as in South Australia or SA meaning ZA as in South Africa? Because in South Africa I would expect them to have things like ostrich on the menu, which is normal. Not kangaroo. Not too dissimilar between each other though. Ostrich is a little more purple in appearance, but they have a very similar sort of behaviour when you go cook them. Alright, we need some privacy guard. Ah, South Australia, right. So I suppose I should ask the dumb things, do they get them in Kangaroo Island? I guess not. Don't think you're allowed to do that. Kangaroo Island's a bit of a protected place. Pigeon is purple and hard to cook. Okay, yeah, so it's not dissimilar. Okay, so that's booted. Alright, so we've basically got the real problem of we're trying to prove that something isn't going to happen. That's very difficult with this scenario, so all I can do is really keep testing it. There is one quirk going on here that's got me a little bit concerned, and that is that the MagSafe does not... Okay, 86% on the battery. The MagSafe does not go green. I don't know why. See, it's orange there. It's going to turn off. Used to fish and catch crabs and swamp. Yeah, that's what we used to do when we were in Townsville. We would basically go down to the river in the evening, try catch some brim or flathead. If we were really lucky, we'd get flathead. Some prawns maybe. They were sucked at casting nets. I did alright for casting, but I never seemed to cast in the right location, so I'll be lucky to get 2 or 3 prawns. Yeah, this is misbehaving slightly. I might go get an original MagSafe just to see if it behaves in a superior manner. Okay, now you're MagSafe 1. I need MagSafe 2. And with the 165 you can't go put a MagSafe 2 adapter onto a MagSafe 1 cable. It does not work. Uh-huh. Alright, this is a genuine MagSafe 2. Yeah, we've got a problem here. So it's booting. Okay, now it's gone green. Oh, maybe that's not too bad actually. My bad. It's bombed. At least it did go green. The delay is good. In fact, the delay tends to prove that it is in fact a genuine. Whereas the clone MagSafes, they just straight away will turn around and go, yeah, sure, here, have the power. Whereas the genuine will go, I don't know, let me think about it for a little bit. Okay, let's do something naughty here. I'm going to power this. Okay, so this is the MagSafe tester by Harold. And we're going to plug this in. So it's good CRC and genuine MagSafe 85 watt. So it's all good. Let's plug that back in. Green. And it should turn orange soon. Come on, turn orange. Orange. I'm kind of wondering if there is something wrong with that DCM board. We'll have to take that out and have a look. It is working, but it's kind of not working as I would feel comfortable with. Supposedly the iPhone 14 is getting rid of the charge port, wireless charging only. Yeah, that is a serious step backwards going to wireless charging in terms of trying to be energy efficient and things like that. Because wireless charging, even at the best of times, is not that efficient. Now you could argue that, well, we use transformers for AC coupling of energy, and they're quite efficient, and they're not connected together. But the difference is with AC transformers is that the windings are like they're interwoven with each other, and you've got an iron core, or you've got basically the whole thing is designed to keep all that energy contained within and transfer as most it can one side to the other. But when you've just got two coils back to back with just an air gap or plastic between them and no intermeshing and no iron core or anything like that, it's just lossy as hell. Which is why whenever I see them talking about getting venture capital for on-street wireless charging, it's like, oh dear God, who's falling for this crap? Alright, so, oh that's right, we want to have a look at the, yeah. Yes, that's right, creature, the coupling factor, yes. That's a more sensible way of saying it. I actually dislike taking out these MagSafe adapters because, well, boards rather, because you never seem to quite get them as neatly tucked in with the cables afterwards. You get close, but not as nice. Creature, if you're using micro USB, shame on you. Everyone should be using mini USB. And nobody uses mini USB. It's a bit of a shame because that really was a solid connector. It was sufficiently compact, solid, but it had the downside, it was a little bit fat, I suppose. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, that could be the cause of it being a little bit intermittent and laggy, so we'll try to clean that up. Personally, I would like it if we had the physical format like the Lightning connector, but obviously, with USB 3. Oh yeah, that's pretty much a break. Yep, that's why that one wasn't happy. Knew my Spidey-ish senses were telling me that something was wrong. So we'll just scratch away those two parts and connect them. I mean, the Lightning standard itself is, it's out of date. It needs a performance increase and things like that. So I think, like I said, I think if they just take the physical format of Lightning but implement USB 3 protocol or Thunderbolt protocol or whatever. And when I say physical format, I don't mean exactly the same. I just mean the idea of solid tongue into an open receptacle. It's a durable format, and it's just something I prefer. Whereas USB-C, it's the socket is more complicated because you've got pins on both top and bottom, and it's all backwards to me. Oh, and AimTech have told me that my shipment of new flux is on its way. They gave me a tracking number. So hopefully in a couple of weeks we will have the beautiful smells of pine forest emanating from my soldering iron, which I think my wife will find vastly more preferential from the other smells that emanate from me. We do have corrosion under here as well. I'm kind of unsure how I want to tackle this, because clearly we've got a plastic connector and we've also got this connector, which makes it difficult to get that part off without melting something. And we also need to touch up the ends on there. What the... Hello, bug. Looks like you got stuck to my flux. No, wrong side of the iron. Okay, they're not perfect, but they're pretty good. Okay, now we're just going to get some Litz wire. And even though it does have a coating on it, it will come off very quickly. And this does not appear to be a current carrying wire. This is a signal wire, so it should have no problem with that. See, Buzzcoal has got a Sorin solution there. Oh, ran out of solder there. I think what I'll try is say I'll do some flux and boil from a distance, see how the connectors behave in the interim. But I do feel like there is actually corrosion that needs to be removed from underneath this chip, including a piece of copper that jumped off the board there. Now, if I am patient, this actually should come off. But I do have to be patient. Patience running thin. You can see there's a bit of an orangey red tint going on around in the flux there, and that means that there's corrosion all underneath. Yeah, that is a serious mess down there. So I'm glad I tackled this, because otherwise what would have happened is I'd send it back, and in a few weeks or a month, chances are they would have sent it back to the place and said it's not working anymore, and then they would send it to me and I would be in trouble. Now the question is whether this chip is actually still viable. I have a feeling it is. Geez, it's going to be a pain in the backside to reball this thing. Whenever they're tiny little chips like this, they are so problematic. It's hard to hold them, it's hard to keep them flat. They're just annoying chips, okay? And they have a tendency to just gather up on your tip of your iron. Is that trait? That I think that was that pad gone, or is it coming back? Are you a goner? You look like a right mess. Okay, we're going to use some 80-20 on that. See if we can flush away whatever it is that's contaminating. It's pretty damn messy. The worst thing is, I don't know what chip this is. Oh, come on. I don't know its function. I don't know if I've even got an equivalent on another board. Because we do not have board views and schematics for the DC in boards in general, we're kind of up the creek. And now it's tangled in it. Okay. Need some finer cotton tips. Yee! Oh, for flip's sake. So what is that? AIH 829. AIH 829. It's a 9-pin BGA. Probably, I don't know. I'm not even sure if that's a 2x2. Looks a bit small for 2x2, but it could be. Anyway. Well, we'll try reball that. I get a feeling 0.25s are going to be massively too large. By comparison, these are SMC. Oh, yeah, what? 0.25 might actually go on that. Let's see, 0.25. I really should just do this paste, but yeah. Anything? No. There we go, we just smear them all on there. Okay, I need to find a place where I don't have any 0.35s. Here it looks as bad as any. Make sure I put the lid back on those. Nothing quite as disappointing in yourself as forgetting to put the lid back on things and then everything just spilling everywhere. This synthetic rock really desperately needs to go have a wash. I'm just heating it up a bit to get the flux to kind of activate on it, chew away a little bit. This is only 250, so it's not going to very quickly move. Probably not a good idea. I think I'm better off just pasting this one, but we'll see. I think I've got a bit of a sadomasochistic streak in me at the moment. Oh, great. The ones that I'm actually holding off to the side, they are melting before the... Just have to move the chip down a bit. Okay, one on. 2. Three. Overshoot. This is not easy. No. 4. What's the bet we'll get to 7 or 8 and I'll do something really dumb. Then again, I suppose some of you are already saying, well, you're already doing something dumb. So many damn hairs. It's so not funny. This is why cleanliness is a very good attribute to have on your workbench, and unfortunately I fail miserably in that respect. It's just the nature. Do not ever put carpet in your workshop, or do not have a workshop in a carpeted area, because carpet it sheds constantly. Like, you move the chair across the floor and it sends up a plume of fibers, and no matter where you go, they're going to be there. Really, this is stupid overkill. I really shouldn't be bothering to do that. I could have just stenciled and pasted this in mere seconds, but no. For some reason, I have this bizarre compulsion to do the manual reball. I think I got infected by a Coda virus or something. See you, B-Blood. Now, for the next magic trick, we actually have to work out which way this thing's orientated. As in, which way does it go back on here? So we're going to actually have to rely on another one to check. Now, where is my other one? Come on, where are you? No, you're 2012. Come on now, MagSafe boards are a dime a dozen around here. And yet, oddly not. Yeah, and unfortunately the 2012 does not have that particular Shit. Oh wait, here we are, we've got one here. Squeak. Okay, so 349, the numbering 349, that's off to the left. Phil put a spell on me. Quite possibly did. He's probably a druid. He probably spends his holidays at the Stonehenge talking about all the people that he put a spell on. Okay, so that's the way it's got to be orientated. The little nick out of the top goes up to top left. Now fortunately, this being leaded solder now will make the process maybe easier. Rewind the video. I don't think that's ever going to happen for me. So once again, we just got to be patient here. We probably won't have to be as patient this time. I'm very tempted to touch that chip, but I don't think it would be a good idea. Oh, I just realised I changed the setting. That's why it's... Okay. My bad. Yeah, this should do it. Looking good. Okay, Michael. Thank you. So look at that red scum. That's what happens when these boards get corroded. Alrighty. Let's see if this behaves a little better with the MagSafe now. We're not going to put the drive in. We're just going to initially just let it boot. Yeah, we're just checking to see how the MagSafe behaves. Ah, creature, that's a classic dad joke. Goes along with the joke of like, do you want to hear about the joke about the 3 wells? People go, oh yeah, what's that? Well. And I was like, oh, that's so lame. It's like, objective achieved. Terrible dad joke status obtained. Okay, let's see how we go initially. Okay, immediately goes green, which is correct on this one because this is a fake charger. No, a ball didn't shoot out. I'm pretty damn sure, or maybe it did. Well, that's behaving properly now. I'll have a look now. I did see something, but I thought it was just a arbitrary bit of flux bubble or something. But I'll have another look. No, I think it was just a flux bubble. Yeah. It looks pretty clean there to me. I can't see any shootouts. I'm going to say it was a flux bubble you saw. And of course, this here, that's just a test pad. It's all good. Now to clean it up. Ow, ow, ow. Funnily enough, I find, you know how when you clean up with IPA and if there's any flux content in it, it does tend to leave the smeary effect. I find if you heat the board up and then wash it down with IPA and cloth or whatever, it does a better job overall with the finish. So, let's see. Trouble is, as you use the IPA, it cools the board down, unfortunately. And it's great. Now I've got sticky boogies, hairy sticky boogies there. That's disgusting. Bit of corrosion there too. Alright, I'm gonna cheat. I'm going to use a spray can. Very infrequently use this stuff, but now and then, if you don't feel like ultrasonicking something, you can sort of get away with this. It's not my highest recommendation of stuff. In fact, it would help if I knew where the can was. Right, it appears that Paul has actually banned the can from the room. Sent it off to another dimension. I've got my freeze spray, I've got my can of air, compressed air that I almost never use, I've got my fire extinguisher. But I do not appear to see my can of circuit board cleaner. Maybe that's a good thing. Well, the appearance of the circuit board isn't 100%, but it's amply good, given that I can't find the can of cleaner. Oh well. Maybe I will just stick it in the ultrasonic cleaner. still, be interesting to find out where my PCB cleaner did go. Well, I might ultrasonic it, and once it's ultrasonicked, I will put the UV cure on top of that wire. But basically, it looks like the machine's good, so we just simply have to... Funnily enough, the main board itself does not need ultrasonic cleaning. It just needs a little bit of spot clean where we took that 3v3 sus chip off. But aside from that, it's fine. So we'll call that one a fix. What's the time now? Midnight. Getting late. But we'll have a look at one more. Let's see, what have I got? MacBook Air 13. Let's have a look at, what's the other one? Pro 15, kernel panics. Oh dear God, no. Okay, we're going to go for the kernel panic ones. That's invariably going to be something difficult to spot, or it's... yeah, it could be one of many things. Okay, this is another board where I have to take the screws out and whatnot off screen. I don't have any A1502s. Oh, right. Jason's got... there are a couple of boards from Jason. But I need to actually get these ones done as well, since we spent the whole night last night fixing up some of Jason's stuff. I'll get to those probably tomorrow. These ones I need to get sorted out tonight. But yeah, the kernel ones, they could be so many possible things. It could be, you know, one of the VRMs playing up, or it's... yeah, I mean, you never know. It could open it up and it could have just been a bit of random corrosion in a bad spot and easy done. But I'm not quite going to put my bets on that. Okay, this is a 1932 board. At least I think it is. Or something like a 1932. Oh, by the way, I did put your boards through the ultrasonic clean today. I'll show you how that 1406 came up, since that was the one that was the terrifying looking thing. So this is the 1406 we worked on last night. It's been through the ultrasonic. I didn't do anything other than throw it in the ultrasonic. So it's come out. There's little bits and specks of flux here and there. But considering the state it was in, I'm pretty happy with how it's come out. There's a few points there that probably could be cleaned up. But if this is going to be a tester board, you know, for training, then this will be a perfectly reasonable starting point. There's no point me going over the top on that. And yeah, if you remember from last night how gooped up the flux was, and considering I didn't even pre-scrub the flux off it, I just tossed it into the ultrasonic cleaner as is, and it's all good again. So what was the fault? I forget what it was that we fixed on this. It was oh, that's right, it was that cap there that was the fault. Anyway, so it's come up pretty good under that. Oh yeah, the 1708 also was done, of course. Ow. This is the one with the backlight that we carved away. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that's the backlight carve away scenario. So that's been now come out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Again, pretty happy with that. Looks like we did unfortunately trap a hair in there, so I might try and... Oh no, it's just a surface one, so that's good. Yeah, quite happy with that. Random crap probably fell off from the 1466. Yeah, it's a nice clean job, considering what we were looking at before. Okay, so we've got this 1932-ish, or whatever the next version of the board is. Let's find ourselves our USB-C. Oh yeah, I better scan it in. Hey, scan, thank you. Only 5 volt, no amps, intake, supposedly logic board issue. So 5 volts, no amps. Yep. Okay, so if we're lucky, we may have a short on the board. Can't believe the SMC works. It blew off the bench, was found in Jose's glass of Coke. That's probably cleaned it, protected it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to look for is, do we have a physically snapped open cap somewhere? And let us hope and pray that it is something like that, and it is not a horrendous thing like a bad PMIC. Because if the PMIC is gone, then, well, I don't really like my chances. Okay, so nothing visual there, so we're going to have to take it out. Oscar's looking to get kicked. Yeah, man. Out you come. Ow. That hurt. Fingernails are not good enough. Betting missing PP1v1. Okay. So we've got the betting game going on. Okay, battery is disconnected. I have to tell myself that, just in case my brain decides, hey, we didn't disconnect the battery. Because in fairness, there are several times where I have forgotten to disconnect a battery. Thankfully, I've never encountered damage from that, but it's always a little bit of a scary moment. And you stop to berate yourself a little bit. You flipping idiot doing that. Well, this has not been taken out. All the adhesives are very strong. I do love the simplicity of this board and this computer in general. The main thing I dislike about this particular system is the battery. The batteries are woeful. I don't know why, but they just seem to have a tremendously high failure rate. For no rhyme or reason either. They just decide, you know what, I'm not going to charge anymore. You put a different battery in it, and it's like, yeah, I'm good with this. And sometimes you put the old battery back in, and it's like, yeah, actually, I'm pretty good with this again still. It's a little weird. I'm not really sure where the true fault lies. I'm suspecting it is the battery management system on the battery. Yeah, maybe there's some manufacturing issues they have. I don't know, but these machines and their batteries are not really good friends. AMTech Flux is still perfectly good. Yes, certainly the influence of Lewis went a long way, or does go a long way towards making people consider it. Certainly there's plenty of other fluxes, but it's kind of like screwdrivers and things like that. So you get used to the style and behaviour, and so long as it's doing the job for you, then there's no compelling reason to shift. Crazy Victor sells batteries, but I'm not brave enough to buy off a guy called Crazy Victor. Yeah, I get mine from Broadway, and at least if it does misbehave, they will just swap it out for you. They don't give you hell over it, which is nice. I remember when first working on 1466 boards, and there was a couple of chips on there that have this sort of brownish, bluish, glassy look, and it makes you think that they've overheated, but they haven't. But when you first see it, you go, I found the fault, and I found the fault. There we go. There we go. That's what I like to see. That is one seriously broccoli, crusty. And if my wife saw that, she would try and boil that up and serve that to me for dinner. Hey Travis, welcome back. That one there, I'm going to say that actually just probably either A, failed on its own, or one of those little bugs came in and pissed on it. Hey babe. Oh, Mo? Hello. What are you doing?
Sitting at the door meowing.
Yeah.
I said, you want to see your daddy anyway?
I was just saying there's a faulty part I just saw on the board, and it's like green clusters coming out of it. It looks like broccoli. And I said if you saw it, you'd say, hey, that's broccoli, and cook it up for me, and kill me.
It's like the broccoli I gave you tonight.
Sorry?
Like the broccoli I gave you tonight.
I ate that.
You did?
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. Was it frozen, was it?
You always get frozen now.
Well, it was just like badly frozen.
It was because they were small pieces and it's hard to cook it without it getting mushy.
Yeah.
And also it was getting a little bit
Old, yeah, and more moisture being drawn out of it, yeah.
But we finished it up now.
Yeah, because the fresh ones that are frozen, they come up fine.
But lately I've always given you...
That's what I mean, the freshly frozen, like, yeah. No.
Because
Yes, freshly opened orange juice, yeah.
Because I was giving you fresh.
Yeah. They'd start tasting soapy, yeah.
And then I found broccoli that you didn't mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got to be a fresh packet
Yeah.
and big.
Yeah.
So that it just gets barely, like more blanched.
Yeah, it gets warm. Yeah, blanched, exactly. Okay, my love.
That's interesting stuff. I hope your viewers are listening because broccoli is just the most interesting topic.
Yeah. Everybody wants to talk about broccoli. Alright, I'm just going to add a teensy bit of flux there to try and help this come off without too much drama. Got to avoid heating up those big caps as well. They do not like the heat. Oh, did you see that? I think I'm going to have to go for hot air assist solder removal. I just saw that start to complain, when I took the heat away. Hopefully I haven't damaged it. Those caps do not like heat. Okay, I'm gonna do some assistive heating here. This thing's trying to force me to go Jessa Jones style. That was particularly difficult to remove. Now there's... well, so much for my dreams of doing a nice, clean, easy job here. And the flux that you can see that's all crusted up, that's the stuff that's in the solder, not the stuff that I put down. Gecko thinks it's funny. I'm gonna have to use the knife blade to get that off. Yeah, the can creature I don't have any. And certainly not in that thickness. This is, the solder that I'm using is 15 thou. And it's 6337 solder. It's not often a problem, but when you do sit there just heating it, it will misbehave like that. Trying to make an assessment of the area. It's a bit of pit eating through of the layer there from whatever it was that corroded it. I'll have to see what that cap is. I'm somewhat disinclined to reinstall it, or I may install the same capacitance in another location. So I think this is a 1532, is it? 1521 rather, yeah. $15.21. That's this one here, 766 one. What do you're at 2.2. Look, I'll be honest and say likely that is not sufficiently critical, given that it is PPV in, and it's just going into the switching for 3v3 G3 hard. So that's why we weren't getting any current draw. This is sort of like just more of a stabilizing decoupling for this dual MOSFET package. Yeah, just to stop it sort of like skipping around too much wiggle. So I may leave that off, or I may stack it on top of wherever 7660 is, which will probably, yeah, it's on the opposite side of the board. Because I'm quite disinclined to put that cap back on there. I feel like the damage in the board, I mean, I've still got to clean it up, but there's only a very small amount of clearance between the pad, the input pad, and the ground pad that surrounds, the ground flood that's all around it. And if we have, if it's not, if we get unlucky, we can have that power going straight back into here. So I prefer to just clean this up, cover it over and seal it, and then we can, I think really, a 2.2 microfarad, I think we can actually let that one go. I mean, I can stack it on here if I want, just on top of that. There's certainly, it's got enough room. Yeah, I might try that. I know, I keep changing my mind about things. So what is that? That's 2.2, 25 volt, 402. Don't think I've got one of those personally, but I'll check, and if I don't, then I will go for the search. 2.2, 25 volt. Hell, I don't even think I've got 2.2s in 402. 0.1, 0.1. Oh, wait. Whoa. Wow, I'm shocked. I actually do have 2.2. And 25 volt at that. Now, the downside of stacking it is that it does effectively increase the ESR. Now, the reason why they have it, that one is on one side of the board and one is on the other side of the board, is to minimize the ESR of that decoupling for the input. But this will be a suitable compromise in my opinion. And we should be able to just hold on to it and dab some solder either side. I might put the tiniest amount of flux on there. Jason Vilma style. Okay, it's not perfect yet, we'll come back and clean it up. It's dreadful, in fact. definitely need more flux. That's okay. This is, unfortunately, some people will actually leave it like this and sort of go, yeah, it's connected. I'm gonna have a look at that edge on, see how it looks. Yeah, it might violate the building codes. Okay, so there we go. Stacked edge on. You can see the solder has flowed well enough. There's probably a little bit too much solder on that right side, but I don't know if it's worth... it's not worth me messing around with it. But I will certainly say that there is too much solder there. And we've still got to clean up the little drips and drabs that we accidentally left on the little cap next to it. Okay. Good-o. Now we do need to clean this up as well. I'm gonna try with some wick. You know, I'm not a big fan of doing wicking this way, but I'm gonna do it this way because I don't think I can get enough heat into the board without risking making those caps pop out. Just waiting for it to heat up. There we go. Very rare that I do it like this. There you go. I feel better about that now. I feel like it shouldn't try and jump across, but now that I've cleaned it up, I can actually see that there's multiple other points there where it has been damaged. So like here, see that? And here. And there's a second one here. We're going to green coat that. Is it worth probing the pads? Not sure to what point and purpose to probe the pads. Out of curiosity. I'm content with how they look now that they've been cleaned up. That's good. It's impressive how different the focal length is of ultraviolet light compared to visual. So like when I shine the ultraviolet on there, you can, make out the parts. It's monochromatic, of course, but you can still make out the parts. But if I switch on the light and you look at it with visual, our normal visual, you'll see how out of focus it is. So that's normal visual. It's way out of focus compared to ultraviolet. And that's just the fun of different wavelengths. Beepo, you can just get different colours. I went with blue just to be different. Oh, well, I'll be able to tell if they're shorter or not anyway, as soon as I flip it over. I guess it's a case of sometimes you look at it and you go, you know what, that's pretty much all good. I guess that's fundamentally what I'm doing here. I'm sort of going, you're all good. Hopefully that's cured enough. Yep. We'll check those pads now for a short. Hope my tips are clean. We're good, no short. I keep my UV stuff in this cardboard tube so that it doesn't get excessive exposure to just ambient light in the workshop. I will clean up that other side of the board a little more before I put it properly back together, but I just want to make sure that we are in fact at a point of success to some degree. Ach, niemand. Back. Yeah. Snare the flat flex underneath the board there. Do you find you have to be careful with this one that comes from the audio board? There's a tendency for it to misalign when going into this fairly broad and unusual FPC connector. It's got like a double row of contacts. I think top and bottom are distinct from each other. And I get quite a few of them where they've snapped off halfway, which is really no good at all. Pain in the backside to try and replace it, let alone get replacements. That's the only thing I've got so far as donors. And they run out real quick. The heat would harm. Fortunately, this room doesn't get too hot, but yeah, I mean over time it will for sure. You gotta love when some days you can't get the alignment right. So I call myself a MacBook tech. I can't even plug in a cable. This is embarrassing. Aha. Just had to relax. Let the force guide me. Same with this one. Okay, that's in. I'm going to assume the battery is going to be flat. Okay, 5 volts, 180, 400, 20 volts, 750. We are charging and possibly booting soon. Yep, got a logo, all fixed. That's a nice change. Having one of these where it was just that one nasty little cap. Thank goodness for that. The force sleeps, does it? Well, that explains a few things. Why else would they make a movie and call it The Force Awakens? it did... Yeah, okay, fine. Thank goodness I'm not a Star Wars fanboy. Or fan person, sorry. Okay, so we've got 3% on the battery. We're charging at 2.1 amps. So it's looking good. I think we can call that one a fix. Shut that down. And we are done for tonight. I think I've done ample. Oh yes, and got to blow the CPU up last night. That was fun. Although it was a little less spectacular than I had hoped. I was sort of hoping for a little more flame and smoke. Yeah, a bit more of a Balrog type outcome. Oh well. I'm just going to bring the big iMac up. This thing should be ready to go. There we go. So, keyboard needs identifying. Done. Let's see, the internet should work. Hey look, I'm live now. What the hell? That's not kind of the ad I want. That's a terrible ad. Why am I... Oh great, now I get to watch it twice. Oh, that hurts. That really hurts. How dare you. Alright, well that's all working good and proper, so we got to win all around. Yes, I am left-handed and I use my mouse left-handed. I don't have a problem with it, you know. Primary click is like the big get stuffed. And that. You can flip them around if you want, but I've always learned that way. It doesn't seem to give me any strife. Strife? Alrighty. Okay, well that's it for tonight. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow perhaps. Until then, you'll take care. I'll see you later.